on That Car Guy here, and today I have with me a 2016 Lexus RC-300 F Sport. It's kind of a mouthful. This car is a 3.0 liter 6-cylinder engine and it displaces about 246 horsepower. It's a really cool looking car. It is the coupe version and it's one of Lexus's most infamous sports cars. So I'm going to get right into this review and let you know the things that I like, that I don't like, and then we're going to take it for a ride and see what it can do. So the first thing you notice about the Lexus RC-300 or RC-350 or RC-250, they have so many variations, is the looks. This is one of the best looking cars on the road today. The paint is absolutely gorgeous on this particular model. That blue stands out and we have a good angle. But one of my favorite parts about this car is the front end. You have an enormous front hood and this extremely large grille in the front, and it just looks so aesthetically pleasing. Along with the grille in the front end, you have these headlights. These are some of the coolest looking headlights that I've ever seen on a car. This car to me just screams sports car. Right when you look at it, you immediately know this has to be some sort of sports car. Walking around the car, I love the rims and the wheels that they put on this RC300 on the F Sport models. I believe all the F Sports have these. A lot of spokes if you're cleaning them, but they look really, really nice. I can tell you from driving this car around today that when you drive it, people stop, people stare, and people ask questions. It looks like a $100,000 car, so if you don't know anything, to the normal person, it's just such a good looking car. On the back, I think that the rear could have used some work. I don't particularly like the exhaust. I think a quad-tipped exhaust would have looked nice. I know that on the RCF they do have that stacked exhaust, but it's not bad. I think that overall, it's one of the best looking cars I've ever seen. So let's jump inside the RC300. Right away, the first thing that you notice is this phenomenal steering wheel. It's got the perforated leather on the sides, it's got the F Sport badging on the middle. It looks really good, and you've got the paddle shifters that are perfectly placed for you to shift. Another thing that you notice immediately is these seats. These are some of the nicest seats that I have ever seen in a car. The red looks so good on this particular model. Now this is a coupe, so you do have back seats, but they're not particularly useful. Just to get them back, you pull this lever, and then the seat will automatically go forward for you. And yeah, you don't have much room back here. If you're a father, you have 2 small kids, and you still want a sports car, I think this is a really good car for you. But if your kids are any older than 10, 12 years old, I don't know if they're gonna fit. But overall, getting a feel for the interior, the cabin is very, very welcoming and very, very sporty. Talking more about the interior, one of the things that I love about this Lexus is the new digital gauges. This car has 4 different modes. You have normal, you have an eco mode. So if I slide to the right, we'll get eco. And then when you switch to sport mode, you get these nice white digital gauges. And if you go to Sport Plus, it's the same gauges, but it looks really, really cool. I think that they're very, very appealing. Talking more about the gauges, you have a lot of options to change things on your steering wheel. So you can get messages if your phone is connected. You can go to your satellite radio, and you have a bunch of different things, a compass, temperatures, ways to control your auto settings. But to be honest, I think it's just too much. It's just too much in your face. For me personally, I just like the gauges. So the setting that I would probably keep it at is just to have that there, the way that it looks now. But I mean, some people like it. One of the worst parts about Lexus, in my opinion, has to be this infotainment control module here. You use your finger to control things. So for example, right now, if you take a look at this GPS, I'm using my finger to control it. And when you're driving or trying to use this at any time that you can't focus, it's one of the worst systems in the world. It's really, really hard to use. But overall, the cabin feel of this car is excellent. I like the little clock. It looks nice and fancy. I like the way the gauge is laid down into you. I like the little red leather accents here. And this car also has a heated steering wheel. It has heated and air-conditioned seats. So if you look here, you can heat your seat, you can have air conditioning, you can have air conditioning on your steering wheel, or you can heat your steering wheel. So Lexus is never shy on the options. Alright guys, so now that you've heard me talk about this Lexus RC300, let's get to the important part and see what this thing can do on some twisty back roads. Alright guys, so taking off in the Lexus RC300 F Sport all-wheel drive. I know it's a mouthful. So, the first thing that I did was take it off of normal mode and put it in sport mode. And we're going to be going on some twisty back roads. So typically the RC series, so RC250, RC350 are rear-wheel drive cars. I believe the RCF is rear-wheel drive. I don't know too much about Lexus, but I believe so. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. The RC300 is the all-wheel drive model, and I'm doing this review in Pennsylvania, so that would probably explain that. You definitely want to have an all-wheel drive car here. That being said, I believe that the all-wheel drive system from Lexus is actually pretty good for snow. The owner was telling me that he's had some harsh winters in this car and that he gets through a lot of the deep snow and sludge. So that's a good thing to be noted. But getting back on track here, the RC300 has a 3.5 liter 6-cylinder engine. It's naturally aspirated. This car is automatic. It's a 6-speed automatic, and it has 246 horsepower and about 235 pound-foot of torque. So the numbers aren't crazy on the car, but I can tell you right away that the steering, it feels very good. So it has electric power steering like most modern cars, and it is responsive, and I can tell that from switching it from normal to sport mode, I immediately noticed a difference. Which is a good thing. A lot of cars have all these different modes, but when you switch from one to the other, you don't notice anything. So it's good that Lexus actually tuned the suspension well from mode to mode. That being said, I haven't put it in Sport Sharp mode, but sorry, I said Sport Sharp. I'm used to my STI. Sport Plus. I haven't put it in Sport Plus, but I plan on doing so in a second. This car also has a snow mode and a rain, and it's just got all different types of modes, but we want to get to the meat of everything and see how it drives. So let's put it in sport mode, or Sport Plus. Let's put it in manual. And let's use these paddle shifters. So we're going around some really twisty roads. And let's put this thing in first gear. And let's do some driving. Man, this thing handles well. I'm coming around a curve now. Okay, so first impressions. It sounds unbelievable. There's an induction note in this car that I'm not sure if you can hear it on the camera, but man, it sounds so good. It almost sounds supercharged or something. Obviously it's not, but it sounds so good. Coming around this corner in second gear at 30 miles an hour, I'm full throttle. And it's just perfect. You know what? Sometimes cars that are a little bit underpowered, like this Lexus, are perfect for everyday driving. And the reason behind that is because it's not so crazy that if you pin it, you're gonna get hurt or your back end's gonna break out. So for example, in my Focus RS or my STI, hang on one second. Man, it's fun. But anyways, in my Focus RS or my STI, they're very powerful cars, and I've driven some much faster cars. For example, the Mustang GT or a Mustang Shelby GT350. There's certain cars and there's certain amounts of power that when you're on roads like these, and I'm talking twisty roads, I'll give you a view of them in a second, you can't go full throttle because it's dangerous. Your back end might spin out, you might lose control of the car, certain things can happen, but in this car, it's honestly not that fast. It feels faster than it is, it handles really well, and I'm genuinely impressed, and I think that since it's only got 240 or 250 horsepower, you can do what you want to do. You can put it full throttle in first or second gear around a turn, and you're not going to go drifting, and it's all-wheel drive. So let me show you these roads that I'm on. So here we go, really hilly roads. Got a big uphill slant here. We're not doing anything crazy right now. But look at this turn here. I can probably go full throttle second to third. Man, this thing handles. I slowed down because there was a car coming, but this thing is so impressive. And again, it's because it's not so crazy powerful. I can do that. I don't feel like, you know, I'm doing anything too stupid, whereas in like my Focus RS, I would not be pinning it around turns like this. Look at this turn coming up here. I don't want to do anything too dumb. Speed limit's like 45, but let's drop down to like 35 and pin it. And that's 60. And man, this car handles great. So guys, there you have it. The 2016 Lexus RC-300, all-wheel drive, F Sport, all the bells and whistles. My overall perspective on the car is that it's an excellent car. If you are the type of person who likes to make an impression and has a job where it's important to have a car that represents you well, if you have a little bit of extra cash to spend on the luxury of a Lexus, but you still want something that will get you from point A to point B quickly and that looks good while doing it, this is a great car, you know? I wouldn't personally drive one. I wouldn't spend the amount of money that it costs for one of these on it, but I can see why somebody would drive it, and I have nothing against the car. I think it's a great car. I think it's a fun car. It has excellent fuel efficiency. It's got a bunch of great options. Yes, there are some deficits. I don't like the way that you control your navigation and your main console. I don't like how many gauges and how much control you can have where your speedometer is, and there's little things. I'm being nitpicky. Overall, it's a great car, and cars are all about what you want. You know, people always want to say, oh, well, it's a piece of junk and this and that, but look, if somebody's looking for something like this Lexus, then it's an excellent car for them. So I think that that's something to note. And on that, it's AA Run That Car Guy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. I'm trying to put out a bunch more content over the next few months. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you later, guys.